everyone, welcome to Shivangi Singh Astrology. I'm back after a very long break in which I was focusing on my other priorities. After the longest time, I have a new tarot deck. For almost 2 years, I had this resolution that I will not be buying any new tarot decks, and I stuck to it. I'm proud of that. And today I'm back after, uh, you know, 2 years, and I have purchased this tarot deck. So it's not exactly tarot, it's an oracle deck, but with a lot of difference actually. It's the Archetypes deck, and it is something which combines astrology in its traditional way, tarot, oracle readings, with typology in psychology. That is, it talks about personality types, and it actually borrows from the works of psychologists like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, specifically Carl Jung, because he's the one who gave this theory, conceptualized the idea of archetypes in personality psychology. And he also happens to be my favorite psychologist because I have studied psychology and I love the field of personality psychology. So this oracle deck was on the market for a very long time, but it was very expensive, and I had already purchased like over 30 different tarot and oracle decks. So I was sort of waiting for the price to drop and for me to get it at something that doesn't feel like I've wasted a lot of money on it. So when it finally went on a sale on Amazon recently, I bought it, and I'm quite impressed with the quality which I got because generally, as you all know, I've spoken about this before. When I do order tarot and oracle decks, they come like really crumpled. Sometimes I have received ones which don't have that shrink plastic wrapping, which means that they've already been used, and there are many issues that I've faced while buying tarot and oracle decks off of Amazon. But with this one, I was actually very happy. I got it at a great price, and I got it in brand new condition. So this is the kind of tarot deck that in India you won't get for anything less than 2500, minimum 2000, but I got it for 1300, which was quite the bargain. And to get a brand new one at that price, with the shrink wrapping everything intact, is quite the deal. So I'm happy about that, and let's begin my deck review, as is our tradition whenever I get a new deck. So this is what it looks like. This is the front cover. Then the back cover is equally interesting, and here, if you can see, it talks about collective unconscious, which is also a concept that was given by Carl Jung, the psychologist. And this is published by HarperCollins Publisher, which is a very famous publisher for books. And actually, this is the first one that I'm seeing from them of a tarot or oracle deck. And it's by their initiative called Harper One. And I believe that the Wild Unknown Tarot deck that is also available in the market is also published by them, and the author Kim Krans. I'll talk more about her in a while, but the artwork is spectacular, and if you're using the Wild Unknown Tarot, you will see that it is similar. So this comes off like this, it's paper. Then inside the box is like this, so it looks like a diamond here with some artwork. And here they have, this is the artwork. They have given it like little brush pen strokes, and this is what the back looks like of the box. Then this this has got this magnetic flap thing which I really like on this end, like this. I really love it when decks do that. And see, this is how it opens: accept all, reject none, Archetypes Guidebook. So this guidebook is very interesting. Okay, before I get into the deck, let me talk about the guidebook, which I don't normally do. So I'm not somebody who talks about the guidebook a lot, but in this case I would say that I was quite happy. The only concern I have here is that the fact that the the font is so illegible. This font, it's okay if it's just for one page, but the fact that they've used it throughout this book is makes it very hard to read. And this is a kind of book, kind of deck where you do want to go through the book thoroughly. What I really like about this book is that every concept, every idea that is being spoken about through these decks has been explained. So whether it is a psychological concept of archetypes, collective unconsciousness, or it is something to do with personality types, all of that comes beautifully through in the explanations given in this book by the author. And the deck itself consists of 4 sections. There is the selves, that is the personality types, or the archetypes, where we talk about mother, father, orphan, mentor, poet, like etc. Then there are places. So then places like heart, cave, mountain, river, ocean, forest, etc. Then tools: flame, tear, riddle, vow, vision, gem, ring, nectar, medallion, kiss. Basically tools include anything and everything. And then initiation. So now these initiations are more of psycho spiritual concepts like eros, agape, thanatos, acolypsis, gnosis, kairos. So these are talking about something which is beyond the mundane, something beyond the physical. And these are the 4 sections into which this whole deck has been divided. And as you can understand that using this deck requires a lot of understanding of archetypes, a concept that is being talked about in psychology, and even the ideas that are given. For example, in the initiations, the psycho spiritual aspects of the card, there are a lot of things that were unknown to me. For example, thanatos was unknown to me, or gnosis, aletheia, and even anima mundi. Everything was comparatively very new to me because I've not come across these sort of things in other decks. And that way I would commend this deck for being truly original in that sense. Then now we come to the actual deck. So this deck opens up like this. Okay, I hope you can see that. And there is this very helpful ribbon given through which you can pull it up. Although it's not really needed because there's another deck, another box inside. And I love the artwork inside here, So in keeping with the wild unknown tradition, it's black, and the artwork is very typical of what you might have seen from the archetype tarot deck. So this is the round box. Again, it has a diamond image, and this opens up like this. Another very helpful ribbon given here, black ribbon. And these are the cards. So this is what it looks like. And the cards are really, really nice, and I've segregated them already because I opened it all, obviously. So this is what the back side of the card looks like. These are round cards, and these are big cards. Like my hand is pretty big, larger than normal, and still these cards sort of cover it. So these are big cards, and I like it. I think if you've seen my videos, you know this, that since I have like really long hands, I like having big cards and big decks in my hands. Although because these cards are round, it makes them a little bit hard to shuffle, but it's not impossible. So this is what the back looks like, and this is what it looks like from the inside. The artwork is very, very typical of what you'll find in the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's the same style. Then these are the different types. These are the different kind of artworks. Some are very colorful, like these two, the Starborn, the Lover, and then some are really black and white, like the Destroyer. So it really keeps in mind the theme, the message that is being conveyed, the ideas being conveyed through the card. So I remember when my parents were watching me walk around with these cards, they were thinking these look very dangerous. What is she even doing with these kind of cards? So get ready for that sort of judgment may happen. So if you look into the guidebook, if you can ignore the terrible font that they've used, you will find that the explanations given are actually pretty good. And as a psychology student who has loved Carl Jung's work, who has loved learning about archetypes, I would say that it wasn't so far off from the textbook meanings of different archetypes. So yeah, that way I was pretty happy. I thought that they've done a really good job in with research, because they have gone on to Vedic traditions, yogic traditions, along with the spiritual, different spiritual aspects and psychology. So that I found very, very impressive. So yeah, these are the people section. This is the people section of this deck. See, this one is so colorful. Then there are the places section. This is the places section. Threshold, the castle. Look how pretty this is. So yeah, there are some that are really, really colorful and pretty, and some that are meant to give you a message that it's a little bit more serious. So this is what the cards look like, and they're thick cards. They are matte finish, and they're very pretty. The finishing, everything is very beautiful. The artwork comes along really nicely, and I have really enjoyed using these cards so far. I thought they were great fun to work with. It's just that shuffling them takes a little bit of an effort. These are the places. Places basically means no, these are not places. Places was the previous one. These are the objects. So objects includes anything and everything, from prayer to actual objects. The stone, the mirror, the kiss. So really anything and everything here. So when people who know me, they come around and they ask to see my tarot collections, what they really say is that they love the artwork, and it's interesting to them because they can just see it, and yeah, it's something that makes them feel happy. So I believe that tarot, in many ways, tarot, oracle, or this field of work, astrology, is very new to a lot of people, and they're fascinated by it. I remember once in college, somebody came up to me and said, "Can you do a tarot reading for me?" And I thought they were joking, but they really insisted. And after I gave them the tarot reading, they said, "Thanks, it was on my bucket list to get a tarot reading done." And that was really funny incident taking place in one of India's premier academic institutions, and I sort of could not believe it, because the people there are not the ones you would consider to be ones who would think about tarot or astrology. But yeah, that happens, right? Because ultimately there are certain things that no one can explain, and actually the prediction that I made for that person that day came out to be 100% true. And he came back to me, that friend of mine, and he told me that everything happened as I had predicted. So that was an interesting experience for both of us. One thing I like about the artwork of the Wild Unknown is how they portray snake. So snake is used for rebirth, and it's just snake is actually a very powerful spiritual energy and spiritual imagery as well, because it talks about cycles. It talks about sometimes a warning sign, sometimes toxicity, sometimes just very powerful spiritual energy residing within us. If you know a little bit about spirituality, you understand that the chakras in the body, the energy of the chakras, is said to be like a serpent that is waiting to just unfurl, that is waiting to uncoil. So that energy, kundalini energy it is called, is very most powerful energy. So I think that that is why I really love the symbol, the energy of snake, because it represents so many different things. If you are a Harry Potter fan like me, then you would know this. I associate myself with Slytherin, and I think that is very powerful house. It's just that it's really misunderstood. And this is the last section of these cards that I was talking about. This is the psycho spiritual elements. which are meant to represent something truly, truly metaphysical. You know, these are elements. For example, this card, Anima Mundi, this archetype represents everything that is in existence. So it's actually a philosophical concept as well as an alchemical concept. So if you know, what an alchemist is, what an alchemist does, so it's something related to that. It's about all the elements in existence. So if you get this card as an archetype for a person, then probably, they are somebody who has a very great understanding of everything that exists, in the sense that they have a great IQ plus EQ. So this is a great card, I thought, as I was reading. Then Eros, of course, it talks about the raw, primal, romantic, passionate, sexual energy. And, it's also about innocent love. It's about, like, teenagers being in love, Romeo Juliet sort of a thing. So that is Eros, that raw, primal love energy that we have. Then this is a apocalypse. I don't think this needs any explanation. It's very similar to apocalypse. And yeah, it's like the energy of destruction. But again, it's talking about the raw primal energy in the universe. All of these are. So yeah, these are the cards. And I would say that I really like this deck. I think this deck has great energy. And this is the kind of deck that I would use for personality readings, or when the questions come up. For example, what does this person think of me? Or even in terms of the places that are talked about in this deck, could be something like, where will I find my missing object, or my missing person? Or it could even represent, where will I find my lost mental peace, which is very relevant to us in this current world. And similarly, like with objects also, sometimes that can represent people. What is your maybe utility in the world, in terms of your workplace or something. So I feel like there are different ways in which this deck can be used. And I have used it a little bit so far, but I would love to use it more. And I might just do a reading on what do they think about you, because I think that's a question that can be answered really well, really nicely with this deck. And yeah, if you want a personal reading on what somebody thinks of you, what kind of person do they think you are, you can always get in touch with me. There is my Instagram account, you can DM me there. It's called Shivangi Singh Astrology, just like my YouTube channel. Similarly, you can email me at shivangisinghastrology@gmail.com. Very simple, same name throughout. And yeah, we can definitely take it further. And while I do a lot of general readings, I think it is understood that if you get a personal reading, it is more meaningful. It is more, because it talks about specifically just for you. So yeah, you can always get in touch with me, DM me, email me, and we'll get talking. We'll get started on your personal reading. Alright, so this was my review of the Archetypes deck and Guidebook by Krans. And I'll see you in my next reading. Thank you. Do like, share, and subscribe. Do your thing. Take care. Bye.